500,000 people. I am delivering my very first keynote. It is hot. It is loud. I have cameras in my face. How did I get there? Speaking in front of 500,000 people is not something I could have ever imagined growing up. I couldn't imagine going to college. I didn't think I was smart enough. As I'm wrapping up, I'm thinking, if I can do this, I can do anything except singing in public. I draw the line. My confidence is through the roof. The credibility, my credibility in the eyes of friends, family, colleagues, peers, clients is sky high. And I ask myself, what makes us credible? For decades, I thought it was about credentials and/or how smart we were. I learned there are 5 ways to boost your credibility, and it all starts with a smile. I am 7 years old. I am standing in the hallway of our small apartment. My first grade teacher is on the right, my mom is on the left. I don't know the reason for the visit. My teacher looks very serious and concerned. She hands over my school journal to my mom. I glance over and I see a lot of red ink and the lowest possible grade one can get, an F. I am so embarrassed. This was a defining moment in my life. This was the first time I told myself, I must not be that smart. I'm sure I'm not the only one who ever thought they weren't smart enough, good enough, or some kind of enough. You know, I asked someone during lunch if they were one of the speakers for this afternoon. And he said, I'm honored that you thought I could be one of the speakers. You could. You are good enough. I am honored and I am humbled to be on that stage in India. Growing up, we didn't talk about passion or genius or purpose or your why. It was all about the grades. So my main struggle was the fact that I thought in order to be respected, I had to get a university diploma, but I wasn't that smart. A few years go by. I am getting my master's degree in computer science. I have this clear vision. I have my diploma handed to me. A blue sky opens up. I am flooded with $100 bills. What a cool moment. I show up to work with a big smile. My boss comes over, shakes my hand, and says, now that you have your graduate degree, we will give you a raise, a promotion. What else would you like? How about a new project that will inspire you? Would you like to guess what happened once I got my diploma? Absolutely nothing. So just like when I was 7, I smiled and I went on with my life. And imagine your career takes you on a journey of interviewing and working with hundreds of people with the highest level of education. You talk to people with PhDs, master's degrees, long lists of certifications, and they're not always having the jobs of their dreams. In fact, they don't always have jobs. The smartest, most educated people are not respected by their peers, not seen as credible. It all starts with a smile. I learned over the years that respect and credibility is not about credentials, and definitely not about how smart or not smart you believe you are. There are 5 ways to boost your credibility. Ready to dive in? Let's do this. Number 1 is to share. By the way, I like to use SMILE as an acronym. It's a beautiful acronym. It stands for share, mentor, invest, leverage, and explore. So number one way to boost your credibility is to share. I am 19 years old when I get my very first paid engineering internship. It's been about 5 years since I came to the United States. My English is decent enough, but most of my team members are meant from England. Between their beautiful accent my English in technical jargon, I am in the state of confusion pretty much from 9 to 5. As I continue with my journey, I realized that there are people who are not only willing to help, but they find joy in it. And it did not depend on their credentials, their level of expertise, or even experience. It was a personality trait that I found admirable. Over a couple of decades, probably one, I've been inspired by Simon Sinek. Now, I'm still not sure if the celebrity crush I have on him is partially due to his smile, but I know that his credibility in my eyes is because of what he shares. It's about how much he cares about people. He advocates for leading with empathy. When I first heard him define the role of a leader, he said, the job of a leader is to grow other leaders. It resonated with me. About a decade ago, I had a high-level executive say, "Hey, Luba, you're a true leader." Huh? What? Come again? Are you talking to me? I had no idea what he meant. I didn't know what leaders were supposed to do. And he said, the rug next to your cubicle, it must be worn out. There are always people there. And I knew what he meant. There were always people. They were asking questions. I was happy to answer. I was sharing in hopes that I could make somebody else's day just a little bit better. So unbeknownst to me, I boosted my credibility. I showed up more credible as a leader simply by caring enough to share. So for me, it was about showing up as a leader. What could you do? How could you boost your credibility by simply caring enough to share? Food for thought. Second way to boost your credibility is to mentor. I grew up in the 80s in the former Soviet Union. Social skills, soft skills were not valued much. You could be smiling all day. You could be a social butterfly. Nobody praised you for it, ever. If you were not academically smart, academically strong, you were just not considered the smartest kid on the block. But there's a huge advantage in filling down most of your formative years. There is. You develop natural empathy towards people. You want to help as much as you can. Now imagine you're in high school and you tutor someone, say in math, and imagine they get an A. Imagine for a second the smile on their face. Imagine their confidence skyrocketing. It is such a beautiful moment to see someone else shine. I remember that moment. I remember thinking, you know what? I don't have to be the smartest kid on the block. I just need to know a little bit more than someone else does and care. That is it. Simple. And when we mentor, we do boost our credibility. When we mentor, we build relationships. When we build relationships, we build trust. When we build trust, we open up the doors for people to come over and ask us questions. We are approachable, especially when we smile. And when we answer the questions, we share our expertise and we boost our credibility. So second way to boost your credibility is to mentor others. Because credentials don't define us, our actions do. A third way to boost your credibility is to invest. I was lucky enough to have an incredible mentor in my career. And once over lunch, he said, you absolutely have to look into the topic of artificial intelligence and machine learning. It is the future. Okay, I trusted him, I respected him, and sure. I invested almost $3,000 and I took a course. And I got my awesome certification. And sometimes I do see my credibility boosted when I mention master's degree and this certification. It is important. It's just not the most important. So shortly after I took that course, I got a $30,000 salary increase. Super cool moment. I like that a lot. And I thought, okay, well, this must be related. Finally, return on my investment. This is cool. But then I thought, how is it possible? How is it relevant? The topic of artificial intelligence is amazing, but it has nothing to do with my current role or my future role at the new job. It didn't make sense. I didn't know about artificial intelligence. So there had to be something else. Now, I had a lot of fun during that course. I created a Slack channel, it's a communication channel, and I brought my peers and colleagues on a journey with me. It turned out there were 70 people who were passionate about the topic of AI, loved it. They had so much fun. And we co-presented during lunch and learns. It was like this whole movement in our organization. So many people got together because they just found passion. And I saw clearly the respect, the admiration in people's eyes. I could feel it. I could see how they appreciated it. See, investment is not necessarily financial investment. An investment doesn't have to be about investment in your formal credentials or more formal credentials and more and more and more and more. It could be about you investing your time in other people. Because I believe that when we invest in other people, we send the message that we're willing to go the extra mile for someone else. And that earns respect, and that boosts credibility. It's not about credentials. It's about actions. That brings us to the fourth way to boost your credibility. A few years ago, I got to the point in my life and my career where I felt respected. And I knew I was credible. And I wanted to leverage all the lessons learned and my credibility and share my message on a larger scale. I applied to conferences. I told my network that I am ready to speak at their organization. Crickets. Nothing for about a year. Okay. They didn't see me as a credible speaker yet. I smiled, but this time I did not move on with my life. I shared more, I mentored more, I invested in other people more, and I leveraged mentors and experts around me who knew more about the world of public speaking than I did. At the same time, I also was inspired by a woman I mentored. We got on a call and she said, I'm retiring from the military. I am ready to enter the next chapter of my life. I'm not sure what to do next. I would love for you to explain to me all the roles in the corporate world, and I'd like to see if I have the right skills. And I remember thinking, she didn't say, I want to see if I'm good enough or smart enough or my skills are enough. She was looking to figure out what role could bring her joy, what skills she already had that she could leverage, and what gaps she needed to fill. We know a lot. We can leverage everything that got us to the point where we are now. We can leverage all the lessons learned. And we can also leverage people around us who love investing in other people, who love seeing other people shine. There are people out there, there's so many people who do want to give back and share their expertise. So leveraging all the things that we already know, plus all the experts that want to help you out and teach their expertise, it's an awesome thing. It is an awesome thing. So fourth way is to leverage. Leverage so that you can explore new opportunities, which brings us to the fifth way to boost your credibility, and that is explore. One morning, I wake up to a LinkedIn message. It was from someone I knew of. I didn't personally know this person, and the message said, I'm speaking in India in front of 500,000 people. Would you like to join me on stage? My first thought was, that was not the scale I had in mind. I was hoping to start maybe a little bit smaller. My very analytical, risk-averse friends immediately said, this is a scam. I asked my network if they heard of such a thing. Nobody had. Everybody thought this was a scam. I chose to explore. Exploring that opportunity led me to friendships for life, highest level of confidence, respect from people who knew me and who didn't know me, new set of skills, and a major boost in credibility as a speaker. It also led me to this red circle. I am honored and I am humbled to be on this stage. It's not about credentials. It is about actions. Share, mentor, invest, leverage, and explore. Even better if we do it all with a smile. How will you smile tomorrow? Thank you.